What's up guys, it's YOKED here. So basically I've decided I want to start a small series mainly aimed at people who want to move over to Ableton. Hopefully these people know a little bit about production anyway. I don't want to, for this series, I don't want it to be about how to produce, although there will be like small little like tips in there, but it's mainly geared towards Ableton. I want to start with all the audio effects, and I'm basically just going to go through every audio effect A to Z, and talk a little bit about what it does, and also talk about what I think can be done with it, and maybe some cool little like hidden Easter eggs that no one, or hopefully not too many other people, know about. So yeah. So first we're going to talk about amps. So basically these algorithms in here, we have clean, boost, blues, rock, lead, heavy and bass. I guess they're just terms to describe how they may or may not sound, but really what they are is replicas of circuits that were used from the 60s throughout to the 90s. Okay, so I'm basically just going to go through with my guitar, and we're going to go through each setting, and we can see how they all sound just for some reference. So first we have the clean, which was I believe used by the guitarists of British Invasion during the late 60s. And yes, due to its name, it is probably the cleanest sounding one of the bunch. I'll A-B it, obviously. I'm absolutely anus at guitar, but we'll go with that. So it just gives it more of a realistic feeling, and actually amp was designed to be used in conjunction with a cabinet. So let's go. Yeah, so the cabinet, we'll do that in a later video, but it's basically, both of these plugins are physical modeling, based on physical modeling. We have boost, which I believe is based off the tremolo channel, which is good for like some edgy rock riffs, if you know what I mean. So let's go to the next one. So we have blues. So blues is from the 70s era. It's pretty good for country, blues, rock, you name it, you know. I'm not going to play any of those genres right now. I'm just going to play more notes. Oh, we can do a chord. Alright, so next we have the rock preset. I'm going to turn the gain down a little bit again. So this is based off the best known rock amp of all time. It's the classic 45 watt amp, and it's obviously it's good for rock. Sweet. So next we have lead. This one's good for heavy metal. So next we have heavy. So this one is also good for metal. It's a little bit more grungy. Insane. And lastly, but not leastly, we have the bass preset. So this one is, as it says, you know what, I'm going to put the EQ backwards on. Popular use would be for bass guitars, and that's because it has like quite a strong low end, and when you drive it harder, just pretend this is a bass guitar as well, when you drive it harder, it has quite a fuzzy high end, which is pretty tasteful in bass guitar. So now we've gone through what it is made and designed to do. I'm going to show you a few of the things that I actually like to do with amp. So, okay, here we go. So first I'm going to load up an operator. I'm just going to chuck in a bit of a sine wave. We were playing D before, so let's go down to D. Freeze that out. Okay, so something I like to do with the amp is make those, you know, those like pretty like grungy sounding 808s that they use a lot in like hip hop and trap and stuff. So you can make one pretty easily just with a sine wave. So now we have, you know, we have a pretty boring sounding 808, just sub, if you ask me. But now with amp, we have 7 different flavors of 808s. It's basically like a preset. So we have clean, boost, blues, rock, yeah, so we also have, we have the input gain, which is on the left here. That will control basically the amount of distortion. And we have the output gain, which will control the volume. So if I drive the input gain, and okay, so if I give 5 dB to the input gain, and then take away 5 from the output gain, presets will give you additional distortion when you turn the output gain up. Take heavy, for example. So I believe that all guitar amps are based on a fixed amount of electricity. So what that means is that when you drive a certain band on the EQ, so let's say if we drive the treble, will increase the amount of treble, but there will be less bass and mids. So you kind of have to like play around with the parameters a little bit if you want to, like, say if I want more treble but I want to keep it the integrity of the sound that I had before. You got to kind of play around with all of these a little bit. Let's try with lead. There's that, and then presence is basically just a final tone filter. So it won't work on all of these presets. Basically, more presence is brighter, presence is darker. So if I have it in the middle there, amp's giving you a little bit of an annoying sort of piercing hiss. Just play with the presence a little bit, bring it down, that nice easily feeling without it being too harsh. And dual output is basically just like if you have a stereo sound and you want to keep the integrity of the stereo field, have it in dual mode. But just remember that if you're in dual mode, it uses 2 times the CPU. So if you're running it on your NANS 2004 iMac, maybe just use mono. But honestly, Ableton effects use basically no CPU. It still says I'm using 0 right now, or 4 to do this sound, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But yeah, that's my amp walkthrough. Cheers.